Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. We got this, Emma, don't worry. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of what? You personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh, wait. Okay, I get it now. I get it. I got you, Nick. Now we're on the same page. I was with you before, but now I'm really with you now. Okay. Oh, yes. At last, you finally brought it out to the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requested that it be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean it could not have been forged? It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. I mean, ho, you're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Righto had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that. Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? You got this, fam. You got this. We got this. We got this. Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... We got this. We got this. We got this, Nick. We got this. Emma? Emma Sky? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? We got this. You'll see it. You'll see it, guys. Oh, ho, ho, ho. You're really something, Righto. You know this girl did it all along. And yet you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you monster! Miss Garden! You knew whose fingerprints those are all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Guy, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted, whatever. I'll have your badge, boy! What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you gonna tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer. Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Scott, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Thanks for the hookup, Lana. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all that blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked in blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh! But that piece of cloth! Wait! There's no blood on it! Ugh. Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time! No, this is nonsense! Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armored sword? And then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that then broke on purpose, to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. It's finally all over. I'm getting hungry. Oh my god. He looks so fucking... He looks like red white. That was close, Righto. You almost had me. So sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute your allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Order! Order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Raji? Earlier, old Righto here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Righto? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor? I don't have any evidence I can present at this time. Whatever. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair. Did you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. Oh my fucking god, alright. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edward? True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems, at last, the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? Did you purposely and illegally conceal this piece of cloth? No. I admit, I refused to present it at one point. Ha ha! So the evidence is illegal! No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Archie! Don't listen to his lies! He's nothing but a coward! You can't really believe! There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence illegal or not? Very well, let us settle this in once for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. Whoops! Oh shit, oh thank god I didn't present that. Imagine I presented a badge. Where is it? This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. Oh, what's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying, I didn't have approval from the police department. Did you have approval from the police department to show the jar piece? Who gave you approval for the jar piece, though? I don't even remember how. It's been too long. I can't remember the events that occurred when the jar piece was shown. Was he there? Maybe he was there. Whatever. Rule number 2: unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall when was the picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh, yes! No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's chest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person that could have been. Damon Gant! The killer was you!